Another typhoon is coming. This is the second in 1 month almost. Today is the second consecutive day under the effects of the second typhoon of the season. Outside, the rain hasn't stopped, but in here, the routine continues. A quiet breakfast with my daughter before watching the city wake up. In my 20s, I used to think starting from scratch was the worst thing that could happen to you. Today, I know it's the best thing that has happened to me, now more than 3 times. And stay until the end because I'm going to tell you about the last time I had to do it, just a couple of years ago, when it wasn't just me anymore. And why, with everything on the line, this time was different from all the previous ones. Hi, I'm Chilli. A rookie dad, freelance designer, which means that I don't have a steady job, nor salary, nor vacations. And this is my life here in Shanghai. Taking advantage of the rain, giving a short break, I decided to go out for a walk for a bit. And while dodging puddles and seeing the impact of the weather, I couldn't help reflecting. I'm almost 50 now, and when I look back at my 20s, I realize how many things I saw completely upside down. That's why today I want to take advantage of this walk to tell you a couple of ideas that I would have liked to understand much sooner. And this time, I'm not bringing them to you just from a book, I bring them from my own story. When you're in your 20s, you live with a tremendous urgency. We want results right now. And if you spend 1 or 2 years working hard without seeing big changes, you panic. And you tell yourself, I'm not achieving anything. Recently, I read about a Sun Tzu concept called shi, silent momentum, where he uses a water dam as an example. For months, water builds up behind the wall. On the surface, it seems like nothing is happening. But when the dam opens, an unstoppable force rushes out. In my mid-20s, I made the first decision to start from scratch. I decided to go study English in England. There, I started out working at a bagel coffee shop cleaning bathrooms. It didn't look like I was building a career. It looked like I was washing dishes, literally. But that quiet, inglorious work ended up opening the biggest door of my life up to that point. The second big mistake in your 20s is letting yourself be forced to do only what's safe. They sell us the idea of a single path. Study, get a job, endure for 40 years. But enduring without purpose isn't strength, it's exhausting. Many people are terrified of changing course because they feel like they are going to start from scratch. And let me tell you something, starting from scratch is not a dead-end street, it's a blank canvas. I've done it more than once. Every time I had to rebuild everything from scratch, I ended up in a better place than before, losing everything. And recently, it happened to me again. After 25 years working in the creative industry, I was fired. Or as I say now, half joking, half serious, I don't know if they fired me or I fired myself, because I was already changing how I thought about where I wanted to go. If you have the opportunity during your 20s, start something. I'm not talking about creating $1 million company overnight, but of developing the mindset of creating your own value. Let me tell you something I've never shared on this channel. When I worked at that bagel coffee shop in London, at one point I told the owner that I knew how to make websites, since they didn't have one. I offered it almost as a thank you for giving me the job. She accepted, but told me not to do it for free, to charge for it. And that website ended up leading me to design the brand's entire store location in the new Terminal 5 at Heathrow Airport in London, without me knowing anything about interior design. I learned as I went. That small gesture of offering something I knew how to do completely changed the course of my career. And well, the last time I had to start from scratch was a couple of years ago. I already mentioned it. I was let go after 25 years in this business. But that time was different from the previous ones, because I wasn't alone anymore. My daughter was just months old, and instead of feeling just panic, I felt something strange. I knew I had already done it before, 3 times, and that it had always ended up in a better place. So instead of hiding, I started recording. I started this channel. I also started sharing what I was learning about artificial intelligence, and today, as I walk with you through a typhoon, I'm still building something new from scratch. Once again. If you're in your 20s, don't be afraid to recalculate your route. Real progress often isn't seen immediately. It builds up in silence. And sometimes it builds up cleaning tables, cleaning bathrooms, or making bagels without knowing what for. Back home now, with my umbrella ruined, but satisfied with my walk. I'd like to know what you think. If you're in your 20s, what is the hardest part when choosing your path? And if you've already passed that stage, what advice would you give to your younger self? Leave it for me in the comments. And well, this was the live result of braving the typhoon with an ordinary umbrella. It broke completely. But in the end, this is also a lesson. You're going to go outside, you're going to get wet, the wind will bend your plans, and you will make mistakes. That's inevitable. The important thing is that you went out for a walk and didn't stay locked inside watching the rain through the window. And if you want to follow this Chino Rolo, subscribe, leave a like, and share this video. See you on the next walk. Bye bye.